Hello there! Welcome to this episode of Force Ghost Conversations. This is your host, Anthony King, and this week I'm going to run through the plethora of announcements and trailers that we got at the D23 Expo last weekend. Now, before we get started, I'm inviting you to join the conversation with us. We can be found on Twitter at Force Ghost Pod. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok just by searching Force Ghost Conversations. Look forward to connecting with you on those platforms. Also, please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your listening site of choice. And finally, please be sure to check out our TeePublic store to buy some Force Ghost Conversations merchandise. And without further ado, it's time to gather around the campfire for some Force Ghost Conversations. All right, everyone, welcome back to Force Ghost Conversations. And boy, do we have an action-packed episode for you all today. It's quite a doozy. There's a lot of news to get to. D23 was just a lot of announcements, great stuff all across the Disney brand, if you will. Stuff from, of course, Lucasfilm, Star Wars, all that, plus Marvel. Got a lot of Marvel Cinematic Universe news drops, Disney Parks news, and of course, the Disney brands of Pixar, the animation studio, and live action. I mean, did you check out that Little Mermaid teaser? Oh, that just looks brilliant. I mean, come on now. It's going to be fantastic. Also, Mufasa movie. Whew, sign me up for that. So, we're going to start here in this episode with our typical Cloud City gossip segment, as you've all come to know and love, part of Force Ghost Conversations here, where basically I'm going to run down all the news that took place over the last week here. So that is what we're going to do in the first part here. But I think you all know that we did get a lot of trailers for various things in the Star Wars Lucasfilm arena at D23, which I will do live reactions to those trailers on the other side of our Cloud City Gossip segment here. So you got that? So first segment will just entirely be news-based, and then the trailers will be after our little break here. Okay? So that sound good? Sound like a plan? Excellent. That sounds good to me. So let's get into some gossip here. Cloud City gossip, of course. And in the first segment of news that we have for today, of course, is that Andor, the highly anticipated series on Disney Plus, will be released, or premieres, I should say, next Wednesday. Are you excited? You know I am. 3 episodes of this series will be released on the premiere date, and we, of course, will be covering them all here on Force Ghost Conversations. So if you can't wait, there's a quick preview of Andor that was released on Disney Plus Day. It has some great footage, so you will not regret if you check it out. It was actually the footage that debuted in front of the Rogue One re-release a few weeks ago that, fortunately, me and Mrs. Force Ghost Conversations were able to partake in. So definitely go check that out. It's a lot of fun. So furthermore, in honor of Disney Plus Day, which was also last week, the documentary A Jedi's Return was released, which is chronicling the behind-the-scenes making of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. This documentary is a must-watch for Star Wars fans, and I highly recommend it. We're definitely going to cover that here on Force Ghost Conversations. Mrs. Force Ghost Conversations herself even said, as we were watching it, pause that episode. I want to talk about this on the podcast. I said, all right, you're going to be on. So eventually at some point, we're going to cover that when we get to that. Because, of course, Andor being out, or we got so much coming up here. It's going to be amazing. Definitely not having a shortage of Star Wars content these days. Let me tell you what. So as alluded to, the D23 Expo took place last weekend at the Anaheim Convention Center. This 3-day celebration of all things underneath the Disney umbrella certainly had its share of surprises and announcements. For example, we got a new trailer for Andor. There was a new poster and trailer for Willow. And finally, we got the trailers for Tales of the Jedi and Season 3 of The Mandalorian. Now, of course, as I had mentioned before, discussions of all these trailers will take place after this segment, the news segment here. So other news that we got at D23, executive producer Dave Filoni confirmed that the second season of the animated series, The Bad Batch, will arrive on January 4th, 2023, with a 2-episode premiere on Disney+. Now, I know Mrs. Force Ghost Conversations is both excited and disappointed at the same time. since Bad Batch is her favorite Star Wars, and she has to wait a little bit longer to get some more content of her favorite crew. So, we also got news that Tales of the Jedi, alongside the trailer that was released, the new six-part animated series that'll be animated shorts, if you will come out on Disney Plus on October 26th. So that's another thing to be really excited about. That's going to kind of overlap with Andor a little bit here as we get towards the Halloween season. In addition, the convention also saw teases for Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, and Indiana Jones, which are all in some level of production currently. Harrison Ford himself even got emotional coming out on stage and talking about the character again, confirming that this adventure, I will say, it will be his last as a titular character of Indiana Jones. So very excited to see him take on the hat one last time. So in Disney Parks news, especially when it comes to the Star Wars galaxy of it all, the Mandalorian himself, Din Djarin, and Grogu will soon be found at Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland. Fans will be able to see these characters walking around Batuu coming soon in mid-November. So if you're heading out to Disneyland around Thanksgiving or the holiday season, be on the lookout for our favorite Mando walking around. So finally, in the D23 Expo news area, Jamal Avery Jr. and Emma Berman were announced to voice Kai Brightstar and Nash Durango in the upcoming series Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures. Kai Brightstar is a Jedi youngling who hopes to grow in the ways of the Force and follow in the footsteps of Master Yoda. Now, Nash Durango is a pilot who befriends Kai and company, joining them on adventures across the galaxy. This animated series, set during the High Republic era, will arrive in 2023, and I'm definitely looking forward to that one. There's a really cute poster of the gang that will be featured in Young Jedi Adventures that you can find all over our social media channels because I love it so much. Now, before we get to the trailers here, I did want to note that there are some casting rumors floating out about the internet for the upcoming series, The Acolyte. So recently, it's been announced that Charlie Barnett, Manny Jacinto, Jodie Turner-Smith, and Lee Jung-jae have all reportedly been cast in the series. Now, Lucasfilm has yet to confirm this news, so we will continue to keep an eye on the lookout for further confirmations. But since the Hollywood trades are reporting this stuff, we're going to take it with a little bit of truth and a little bit of salt at the same time. So just be aware of that. In case you're seeing stuff on the internet about this stuff, we just want to make you know that we are aware of it, we're covering it, and we'll make sure, or we'll check out to see if any confirmations come out anytime soon here. But just be aware of that. Okay, and that is literally all the news that we got at the D23 Expo as it pertains to Lucasfilm and Star Wars specifically. We will be back on the other side of this short interlude here with a look at all these this 4 trailers that came out during I shouldn't say Star Wars Celebration, but basically almost similar to that came out during the D23 Expo. So we'll be right back, folks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to start diving in to some of these trailers, and I assume you all aren't new to when I do kind of like a trailer recap discussion, but typically I would have done like an episode per one of these trailers here just to give them their light in the sun and their day of discussion, right? But I really can't with time right now. It's just unfortunate that is the case because D23 literally is on the heels of Andor, which is releasing 3 episodes at once. We're still talking about light and magic. We got to cover a few more episodes yet of that. I want to do an Andor lead up, which will be released next week. And there just isn't enough time to get through all these trailers before potentially new ones come out for these series as they fastly are approaching. So with that, I'm just going to do a dump into this episode of all these trailer reactions at once. And I think you all enjoy this at home too. I'm very much looking forward to checking out these trailers. I was traveling during D23 last week, so unfortunately, I haven't had it, or maybe fortunately if you're for those at home, but I've only had a chance to like watch the trailers like once. So this is definitely going to be a bit of a fresh reaction, if you will, since I haven't seen them in over a week now. But I'm so excited to get into all these stuff. We got, of course, the Andor trailer. We got the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer, Tales of the Jedi trailer, and the Willow trailer. So we're going to touch upon all these here. I'm going to live react to them. You know the drill. I'm going to let you know which one I'm watching, give you a moment to pull it up on your own device, allow you to watch simultaneously, maybe sync up the audio if you can try to, or just enjoy my musings and reactions as we go through it. And then of course any outstanding things we'll talk about on the other side of the trailer. So with that, I think we should start with the Andor trailer, and this is of course on the I'm pulling it from the Star Wars YouTube channel. This is called the official trailer for Andor, and it's interesting that they released another trailer for this almost like 2 weeks out from when the show is set to debut. So it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting marketing ploy. You would think that some people are almost not looking at trailers anymore for Andor, but hey, you gotta market this and get people interested and involved, and I'm sure it's going to be slightly different from anything that Star Wars has done to this point. It's going to be a spy thriller in that genre, in that vein. So if you're a person that is typically not into the Star Wars aspect of it all, but you're into that type of genre stuff, then maybe this is the way that you get your foot in the door, right? It's a good way to good outlook to have on these things. And I remember when my first watch of this trailer, I was like, oh, okay, there isn't a whole lot new stuff from what was released before in the other two trailers to what is released in this one, which I think is a good thing too. You don't want to spoil away too much of the upcoming season, especially in a minute and a half trailer, right? So just something to keep in mind as we do this here. So feel free to pull it up on your own devices, your laptop, tablet, what have you. And I'm going to hit play here in 3, 2, 1. All right, hit play. Okay, see stormtroopers walking about. There's Andor. Oh, I love seeing the Imperial Senate. Saw Gerrera, of course. I like how there's that Rogue One Cassian Andor. Man, I think Diego Luna looks just excellent in this role. I'll tell you what. Wouldn't you rather give it all at once to something real? That's a great question, Luthen. Wow. We're going to see a lot of this journey of Cassian Andor, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Ooh. Get a hunt started for this. What have you set in motion? Yeah, a rebellion. People will suffer, but that's a revolution. At what cost? Everything. That's right, Luthen. You tell them. They do get stronger every day they wait. Yeah. Wow. Tell you what, Cassian with a beard is gonna be something. That's a good look on him. Whew. Visually, this is stunning. Oh boy. Yeah. 3-episode premiere. September 21st, only on Disney Plus, everybody. Yeah, that's a great trailer. Again, doesn't give away too much of the story. It's all right there for you here. There's a little bit of that Rogue One connection too, which I think is a good one in case people have watched the film over the last 5 years. It's a very impactful line that they do that Cassian says in that film, where it's like spies, saboteurs. We've all done things for the rebellion. Right, and you're going to see this journey here. I love in this first season. It's really going to be Cassian becoming a part of something greater, and even Mon Mothma too. It looks like to an extent, right? You're going to see these these characters that we have come to know and love and appreciate over the last 40 years in Mon Mothma's instance, but for the last 5 years for Cassian. How did they become a part of this grander rebellion? What brought them into the fold? What allowed them to actually give up these inhibitions in their brain structure, what have you, these empathy walls that they had built up for themselves in order to give themselves up for this larger cause? That's going to be really interesting. And of course, I think I've talked about this every time that we've discussed Andor on this podcast so far, is that I have nothing against the volume stagecraft. I love that technology. It's really great. But there's something really cool about knowing that they're on set locations for all these environments and battles, right? That's just something really neat. So you can really see the expansive nature and aspect of this series, especially in this trailer, right? There's a lot of vast open landscapes, and I think that's going to be really cool to see fleshed out over the course of the series and how it plays out for the story arc and what have you for Cassian Andor. Luthen really is a big standout of this trailer, and so far the other ones too. I would say he invokes this passion for the rebellion at this early stage that I think is going to be something that is going to be impactful for these characters early on. So we'll leave it at that. Andor's just around the corner. Very excited for what this show is going to produce for the Star Wars galaxy, what it's going to mean for what it means to be a grounded story in the Star Wars universe. Very street surface level, if you will. Again, the spy genre is something that is going to be it's touched upon in Rogue One a little bit, but not to the extent that I think that this series is going to go into. So it's going to be a whole new tone and genre that Star Wars isn't really tapped into yet. So that's going to be probably the most interesting thing to look out for in this, as well as the journey that Cassian is going under. Um, Great stuff. I'm really appreciative of this. This is a really well done trailer. I think it may even be the best of the ones that we've gotten thus far in terms of how it gets to from point A to point B, and it really gets me excited for this series overall. So, boom, good stuff there. I want to move on next to the Tales of the Jedi trailer. And I will say that I'm a little disappointed I didn't get to go to this panel at Star Wars Celebration. I was doing other things at the same time. You can only wait in line for all these big panels for so long. You want to go do other things at the convention, right? It's the trade-offs of what else can I do instead of just doing all the main panels and all that stuff, right? You want to be on the show floor. You want to do other meetups, podcast meetups. You want to meet up with your friends, get something to eat, right? There's some logistical things that go into being at a convention like Star Wars Celebration. So I've heard great things about this trailer. I've heard great things teased about it over the last couple of weeks and months. And I'm glad that we finally have a trailer now and a release date, right? All 6 of these original shorts, which I hear are 15 minutes long each, will be released on Disney Plus on October 26th. Now, for those at home, this is the same crew that has done Star Wars Clone Wars, Rebels, and The Bad Batch, right? That animated Star Wars look. So it's kind of in that same animation style and vein with Dave Filoni, of course, executive producing, and that same crew working on it. So there's going to be 2 stories that are touched upon in this series. So there's going to be 3 episodes that are focused on Count Dooku, and there's going to be 3 episodes that are focused on Ahsoka, and it's going to be this kind of journey that they all have together. So that's going to be, I think, the very intertwining aspect of the show, and I wonder how they're going to kind of insert these 2 stories together and what we can discern and glean from both of them, because I think they're going to be kind of concurrent. If I had to take a guess, at least I'd say they're going to be concurrent. So not necessarily concurrent timeline wise, but thematically. Let me just make that clear there. I want to say it's a thematic time frame that is pretty concurrent there. So let's take a look at this Tales of the Jedi trailer here. I've got it pulled up on the Star Wars Disney or the Star Wars YouTube page. Sorry. And let's get going on Tales of the Jedi. If you want to pull it up too, feel free to do so. I am going to hit play in 3, 2, 1. All right. You must face death. It looks like there's Padme. That's Padme's funeral scene. Yeah. There's Dooku at the tree on Coruscant. There's a young baby Ahsoka. Baby Ahsoka with some like saber-toothed tiger. Ahsoka is Jedi. That's right. It's going to be so cool seeing little baby Ahsoka there. Also, young Dooku. I'll tell you what. Teach you how to protect yourself, right? It's kind of ironic. Ooh, I want to bring peace and order to the galaxy. All right, Dooku. It's gonna be a young Qui-Gon too. That's right. Young Padawan Qui-Gon. We're gonna see this lineage here. Wow, we're gonna see literally how Ahsoka trains herself from what she eventually does in Order 66. Wow, some younger Dooku is not Dooku, but I would say Mace Windu. Some Bail Organa too action. Ooh, Rex. Obi-Wan with looks like a funeral too, maybe a Jedi funeral. Maybe that's a little bit of Qui-Gon's funeral, a little bit of Yaddle, Inquisitor. Ooh, who might you be? Ahsoka facing the Inquisitor from the Ahsoka novel? Wow, we're going to see so much in this series actually in actual animated form here. And that's an incredible trailer. Wow. That's something that is spectacular if you ask me. That's incredible. So again, so much to break down here from that. There is, I think clearly there's going to be some concurrent themes of, if I had to take a stab at it, each episode is like each of the three thematically will have a similar theme for each person, right? So whether it be Ahsoka and Dooku, because clearly there's some things there that overlap, right? I see Padme's funeral, I see a Jedi funeral there, I see training, I see Ahsoka training, right? So I see Dooku maybe even training Padawan Qui-Gon Jinn there, which I believe is voiced by Liam Neeson's son. So a little neat thread there. We see the fight between Yaddle and Dooku. We see the fight between Ahsoka and the Inquisitor, which is from, I believe, the Ahsoka novel E.K. Johnston wrote. It's a really great book. Go check that out if you haven't. Yeah, that's going to be great, especially bringing back this like almost Clone Wars Bad Batch era animation again. It's like a warm hug, right? It's cozy, warm feelings that you had. Did you feel safe watching this again, right? I guess maybe not safe, but it's just like it's familiar, if you will, right? It's something that I feel is like something that's been a part of my life for almost 15 years at this point, right? Pretty cool if you ask me. And I think we're gonna see little Ahsoka, baby Ahsoka is gonna steal the show if you ask me. And we may even see Dooku fall to the dark side in actual animated form. Now, I know Dooku Jedi Lost kind of touches on that a bit. But there's a lot of great fertile ground for storytelling in this animated series that I hope continues on. Maybe they do a season 2 of Tales of the Jedi, season 3, right? You can do just about anything, any era, any time frame, any character. I think the foundation is set there. So all you need to do is just create character models and have the story fresh, and there you go. But anyways, Tales of the Jedi, October 26th here on Disney Plus, and we'll certainly be discussing this at length on Force Ghost Conversations here. So get ready for that. I want to close with the Mandalorian Season 3 trailer, so I'm going to move over next to the Willow official trailer here, which, again, I love Willow. This one of my most anticipated series, television-wise, film-wise, anything pop culture. This is like almost the top, if you ask me. So I'm thrilled to get into the Willow trailer here. So I pulled it up. It's on the Lucasfilm YouTube page. So let's get ready to watch. Okay. So again, same deal. I'm going to play it. I'm going to live react to it. Have any final comments, discussions afterwards here. So, okay. 3, 2, 1. Hit and play. All right. Wow, this is an expansive series already. What is that? It looks like some kind of a rib cage. Some Princess Bride wedding looks like. Oh my gosh, what city is this? What special effects are they doing in this series? Oh, I see Sorsha. Willow, and of course the Willow music is in the background. I wonder where they filmed this. I think in the UK. Oh, that castle. Ooh, Sorsha's back in it. Okay. That's Sorsha and Mad Mardigan's son there. Willow Lovegood's back in the fight. They're going on an adventure, of course, into the unknown, baby. Hey, the brownies are back, and they got the guy that's they at least got the guy from Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Ooh, wow. I tell you what, I got no idea what's really going on here, but this just looks incredible. But the fantasy aspect of it all is all there. It's going to definitely expand the lore of what is the Willow universe. Wow. There's so much like Tolkien inspired of this world. Look at that. He's like a flamethrower. Give me Willow with a flamethrower. I tell you what, where's that action figure right now? Oh, Warwick Davis is gonna have a field day with this one. Ooh. Yep, they're gonna do it together as friends. They're gonna save the day. Whew. And again, it ends with that magnificent Willow theme music there that is kind of bolstered up by modern music technology, and of course trailer film music, if you will. That's a really well done trailer. That's wow. Oh my gosh, wow. So much fantastical elements to that. It's clearly inspired by the likes of Tolkien, C.S. Lewis beforehand. I mean, of course, Willow is basically George Lucas's Lord of the Rings. It's high fantasy at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. Again, unfortunately, I have no idea really what's going on in the trailer itself. So I'll be thrilled to be back in the world of the universe that is Willow. Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. Warwick Davis is back as the titular character Willow. He's got that flamethrower thing. That's probably the highlight of anything I've seen in these trailers so far. Is just Willow with this like flamethrower wand esque, if you will. He's definitely mastered sorcery at its finest here. The crew looks like they're going on this wonderful fellowship like adventure off into the far reaches of this universe. That Willow theme is going to be popping left and right. The scenes are beautiful, almost to the extent of an Andor level, right? If not even beyond that. Castles galore, underground tunnels, networks. The cinematography is kind of a very vast color palette of light, dark, all these different things coming into play here at once. So I'm hoping you're getting this enthusiasm that I'm exuding here for Willow. I can't wait to talk about this series at length here. We're definitely covering it on Force Ghost Conversations each and every week when those episodes premiere in November, starting at the end of November. So post Thanksgiving, once we're all full of turkey and all that stuff, we're finally going to get to the Willow of it all. And a subtle plug here, if you're on our TeePublic store lately, you'll know that within the last week, we added a new design to our store there. If you want to get yourself a new Force Ghost Conversations t-shirt that's inspired by the Willow logo. So check that out. It's really cool. I hope you will enjoy it too. Maybe get a coffee mug or something like that that is inspired by Willow, because we'll be here each and every week breaking it all down for you all, because I cannot wait for Willow. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk Mandalorian Season 3 teaser trailer. And they say that it's starting to stream in 2023. I believe at Star Wars Celebration they said February 2023, but I guess they're not tying themselves to that era or that time frame, right? I think they're letting themselves be a little loose with that, because you never know what other things come in the pipeline. They don't want to usually overlap with other things that are happening in the Marvel range there, or even with Disney Animation too. So, and I will say that I've seen most of this trailer from being at the Lucasfilm Showcase panel at Star Wars Celebration. So I'm glad that you all at home finally get to see this too. Kind of similar to the Tales of the Jedi trailer that premiered at Star Wars Celebration, but wasn't released to the public until just now. So I'm thrilled to be talking Mandalorian with you all. I mean, frankly, we haven't talked about it ever on Force Ghost Conversations, aside from when basically the Mandalorian centric episodes of the Book of Boba Fett came out earlier this year. So keep that in mind. Maybe we'll see a little bit of Boba eventually at some point during this season as well. All right, everybody. So last one of the day here. Be sure to pull up the Star Wars YouTube channel, search for Mandalorian Season 3 teaser trailer for Disney Plus, and I'm going to hit play in 3, 2, 1. All right, it starts off with the first scene from the first, or the not I would say the first scene, but the first time that the first episode of The Mandalorian that Grogu and Din Djarin met. All right, now we're into some Season 3 stuff. They're a clan. They're exploring. Clan of 2. Clan Mudhorn. I don't know. There's that Naboo starfighter. Wow. Looks like they're going to Mandalore. Because the armor is telling him you are Mandalorian no more since he removed his helmet. Spoiler alert for Season 2 of Mandalorian and also the Book of Boba Fett too. Wow, there's going to be some space battles too. They're getting hunted down. Wherever Bo-Katan is at, she's hungry for the throne again. He's talking about the Night Watch cult, or say the Children of the Watch, has said. There's the Mandalore itself here. There's so many Mandalorians now. They're just expanding. There must be sects all over the universe that survived. Do you think your dad was the only Mandalorian? Nope, clearly not. Quacky monkey lizards. Grief Karga. I see Amy Sedaris back. Babu Frick, ladies and gentlemen. Babu Frick from The Rise of Skywalker. Woo! You ready for an adventure, kid? That's right. I am ready too. All right. The Mandalorian. That was some great music behind the scenes too, or let's say behind the trailer as well. All right, everybody. And that was the last trailer that was released in the Star Wars Lucasfilm aspect to the public. I will say there was of course, an Indiana Jones trailer that was debuted that we didn't get to see, or not, at least not yet, for Indiana Jones 5. But yeah, The Mandalorian, and basically what I can say from like my first reaction to this trailer is, holy Mandalorians, Batman! I mean, there's just Mandalorians everywhere. There were only a handful in the first 2 seasons, and adding on other sub characters and stuff like that for the series, but not a whole lot of Mandalorians. Now that clearly they're going back to Mandalore, we're going to see this post, the post like the Mandalorian, the destruction of Mandalore, basically, and then the Night of 1,000 Tears, I believe, without looking it up firsthand, is what they called it. I think that is a really neat aspect of this series, is that we get to explore this culture in a really deep way. And I wonder what these other Mandalorian sects have been doing in the last couple of years since Mandalore has been destroyed. Where were they when in the destruction of Mandalore? What was it like during the Mandalorian Civil War? There's so many questions that I have about this culture that has kind of been pushed through Clone Wars and Rebels now up to this point. Clearly, Din Djarin's going back to Mandalore in some way, shape, or form. He's going to try and, if I recall, he has to bathe in this pool that's underneath this city, Mandalore, and that will allow him to become part of this cult again. The Children of the Watch or something like that. Sorry, I don't know off the top of my head this stuff. So that's going to be incredible. And again, the action is all right there, and Grogu is at his most cute, of course. So yeah, it's great. Bo-Katan is definitely heavily featured in this trailer, which makes sense given their history and moving forward here together. Din Djarin has the Darksaber, so she's going to try and get it from him to have the right natural claim to the throne of Mandalore. So I like that this trailer gives away so much. It's a teaser for sure, but yet at the same time doesn't give anything away, right? It's Din Djarin back on this path to become a Mandalorian again, or whatever a Mandalorian means in his eyes at this point. Cool stuff. And Grogu, of course, has a bit more of the Force power behind him again. So maybe we get a bit more Grogu backstory in this season. I'm all for it. And I hope you are all are too, everybody. So that's kind of all that I had for those 4 trailers that we got at the D23 Expo this past weekend. What did you think of all of them? Did you have one that stood out to you most? Are you looking forward to one of these series any more or less, maybe even because of these trailers? Hit us up on our social media channels. We'd love to continue the conversation with y'all. We can be found on Twitter at Force Ghost Pod, and also, of course, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Just search Force Ghost Conversations, and we'll be there in one way, shape, or form. You can also check out our TeePublic store if you want to support the show in other ways, such as getting a Force Ghost Conversations t-shirt. We now have that Willow-inspired logo, as well as our Star Wars-inspired logo before. And be sure to rate, subscribe, and review the show on your podcast site of choice. We love that. It helps us expand the show and reach more audiences and keep growing the seats around the proverbial campfire that is here at Force Ghost Conversations. And lastly, just tell your friends about us, right? That's the greatest way that we can keep growing this show on a granular level. So just keep adding the seats to the campfire. That's all I can really keep saying here. I love interacting with you all on our social channels, so just continue to do so. And with that, everybody, we'll be back very soon. Andor is just around the corner, premiering this week, so we're going to do a lot of Andor discussion over the next couple of weeks here on Force Ghost Conversations. So get ready, get hyped, and we will be back before you know it with a brand new episode of Force Ghost Conversations. So I hope you all have a great week, everybody. May the Force be with you. Take care.